They're saying, yeah, so that's why it's saying it's unstable. Twitch is saying it's unstable because the average bitrate stream is too high, but it's like 5,800. But the max for Twitch is 6,000, which is 6,000. So I don't know why they're saying it's unstable when that's the norm. So it just might be it's a false positive for Twitch itself, but it doesn't explain the random disconnects within FNF. So I'll ask them about it later, but you know, could be worse. But anyway, let's go ahead and break the mission brief down here. I am going to actually go ahead. Let's change the music to something a little bit more action-packed here. There we go. Let's go ahead and change that on the music command.
So who are we attaching to?
All right, briefing. Large group of Czech soldiers stationed to the Huron region have deserted the army. The nearby Dutch have been tasked with eliminating them. All right, short and sweet brief. I like it.
Let's give him a warm welcome.
Large open and small areas, forests made by Despo. All right, game mode is going to be a rush terminal attack, which means the terminals have to be done in order. It's a 90-second hack as well. All right. Mission variables, 1,250 for the max render distance, so that's usually the highest we see it at for some of these missions. No magnified optics, no NVG equipment, 125 points for the builder defenders, which is the standard. So the defected forces are the ones leaving. Blue 4 are going to get Maz's, Op 4 gets Smaz. Interesting. Both are pretty powerful AT weaponry. I wonder if the Smaz have their spotting rounds, though, the 9mm tracer rounds to guide where the round goes.
Oh, you're so low. Hold on.
All right, let's go ahead and scroll out a little bit so we don't hear them. Op 4, we're going to go ahead with. So let me also do the breakdown here. Op 4 is going to be Czech woodland camouflage. Here is how all of these forces, what all the symbolism means. So we got platoon leader, which is ground command, platoon sergeant, squad leaders, team leaders, assault auto riflemen, I always say assault, auto riflemen, which are the light machine gunners, the LMGs, auto riflemen assistants, which have the extra ammo form, grenadiers, Grenadier IR, which is means they have Hunt IR rounds, which are little 40mm grenade rounds that you can fire in the air, detonate in the air, and they turn into a little camera with a parachute. And that camera can be controlled by a terminal that the shooter fires, and basically used as a little eye in the sky. It has regular camera mode and a night vision camera mode, no thermals, and there go the Czech jokes. Good God. But they're not in every squad. They're only in certain groups. Machine gunner for the medium machine gun, the MMG, and then his assistant. Combat engineers, so the guys that can do explosives, either mines, satchels, or charges. Light anti-tank gunner, we see that recorded under the roster. Medium anti-tank gunner 1 and medium anti-tank gunner 2. That's why you see two different ones here, because sometimes they might replace the second one with a different type of AT weapon, such as a heavy piece of AT that fires missiles, or that has AA capability. And then the assistant. The recon infantry, so what the squads have, I love how they're doing the desync jumps back and forth down there. The recon infantry sniper, the designated marksman per squad, which by the way, it looks like Op 4 is going to be an SVD because that's not on the loadout. So we have to look at it by the uniform in this loadout. The sniper, which we'll get to that in a second. Crewman lead, crewmen, pilots, medicals, and the base kit. All right. So our Op 4 guys are going to be mainly rocking SA-58s and HK-416s for a Grenadier weapon, because the SA-58s don't have a GP-25 system for their Grenadier weaponry. We've got Mini-Me for the light machine gun and FN Mag for the medium machine gun, M72 Law for the light anti-tank weapon, the LAT. Recon Sniper is going to get the T5000. Suppress Shooter is going to get a choice between the Mark 14 or an AS Val. So two 20-round magazines, one with a 7.62x51 NATO, the other with a 9x39 millimeter. So that's an interesting choice. And then Crew and Aviation, I get the Scorpion or the HK-416. Interesting. Otherwise, Op 4's assets, 2 unarmed Vodniks, 1 MT-LB with 100-round boxes for a PKT, 7.62x54 machine gun. 20 boxes of that, though. That's a lot of ammo. Transport gas, 2 static Dishkas with only 5 boxes of 50 rounds, so they don't actually last a lot in a sustained firefight. They're meant for kind of like a last-second defense, in my opinion. 2 BTR-80s with a good amount of munitions for all of that. Accord static, same amount of ammo and same ammo type as the Dishka, just a different look, I would say. We have a PKT Vodnik, but it has 2 PKTs, one on the front, one on the back, 6 magazines of 100 per gun, and then a Gaz with a PKT up top. Technically, it also has an AGS, but the AGS is always on script. That has to be a mistake. No, that has to be a mistake, because they never would put a GMG in FNF. They are very, very rarely also putting autocannons in FNF, but I did notice last week they reported that on this roster page that they did have an autocannon, but it actually didn't, so that was just a roster glitch. So overall, pretty good roster right there. Go ahead and looking at our players for the defense. Vagrant is going to be commanding with Maz as the 2IC. Maz was the winner of the first round, so that does give him a good advantage. Hey, DJ, how are you doing? How was the previous round, my friend? Hyzia leading X-Ray, Battlebeeve as the medic, Dryden as the sniper, Wheaton as the 2IC, and then Coulthers and Stark being the suppressed shooter. Coulthers taking a suppressed Mark 14, Stark taking the AS Val. Interesting choice, but
Team 1, Team 2, you get the unarmed one, okay?
you hear them speaking amongst themselves there. Norris leading Alpha HQ. He's decided to keep the 2 teams separate. Taz leading Alpha 1 with Iqbal, Skip, Space, and Kaffee. Ash leading the second team with Tackleberry, Heinrich, Rory, and Eric. Azarida leading Bravo HQ. He's got Finn and Arcor as vehicle crewmen. He is opting to keep Bravo 1 and 2 separate. Nemesis leading Yanni, Whiplash, Nimia, N1, Frost, and Malin. Again, Sandy was instrumental in the last round. Let's see what they do this round. Nafs leading Bravo 2 with Cullis, Purton, Iander, Dobbs, Katz, and Gabian together. TF131, I'll go through their names this time.
I'm a
Tanzel.
little disappointed they didn't have a special mod set for April 1st. Maybe F and F.
Natty, I'll get to that after I break things down. But thanks for the 19-month resub. I hope you keep enjoying the operations. I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. You're mad about getting spiky, so mad you went to bed. I'm sorry to hear that, DJ. Hope everything goes well for the rest of your Friday. Lath leading Charlie 1 with Debo, Doc, Nick, Mattifine, Reduced XP, and Gobovic. Charlie 2 being led by Hamstered. I'm sorry, that's so silly. Jammin, Broken, and Catnip. Tanaka, Topher, and Raccoon being Gamma 1, which means they're a dedicated vehicle crew, probably for the BTRs. And then Gamma 2 being Despo and Timac taking the other BTR, I would at least assume. Pretty good roster there. This means Pepega's going to be on the other side. We'll look at the AO in a second. I'll give my final thoughts, but pretty powerful. They do have Scandy. They do have Norris. They do have Stark. But we'll just have to see how that all goes. And then, you know, Vagrant, Maz, 2 of the best commanders within FNF, in my opinion. Otherwise, Blue 4 starting with a bit of a naval attack here. Let's go ahead and break them down. Grab some water. Uniform's going to be the Dutch Army kits. So Mitch helmets, one of the Gref vests. Interesting. But a mix of M16A3s and M4s, Glock 17s. Basically mostly US stuff, except the machine guns are different. They have a Mini-Me and an FN Mag, which are basically a 249 and 240 Bravo clone for other factions to utilize. M72 Laws, the light anti-tank weapon. M24, which is, I believe, a bolt-action sniper rifle for the Recon Sniper, and then the 2 suppressed shooters get a choice of the Mark 14 or the MP7, and then the MP7 and the Mark M4 with a carry handle are given to the crew and aviation kits. Nothing crew served weapons, statics, vehicle choice. We have 6 Land Rovers that are closed, 3 Land Rover HMGs. This also has the PKT that fires from the front. These are the special ones that have that additional gun. So a lot of weaponry on that. 2 UH-60s, each with 1,800 rounds on either side. Interesting. And then a lot of different types of speedboat minigun. I think they've changed it out this way just so they can have the difference of machine guns. So some have a rear minigun M134 system, and some have a rear 50 cal. Actually, no, they all appear to be the minigun variant. Interesting that they're listed differently, but I'd imagine the front gun... Yeah, no. So here's one of them with the rear 50 cal there. But it looks like they're all opting for the 134 systems instead. I'd imagine the front gun only fires either a 50 cal or a 134 because they changed out the GMG. Because again, this community doesn't really do that. But otherwise, a good breakdown here. Looking over at command, we got Kiri commanding. Who does it on and off? I wouldn't say is the best, but can come up with some really good strategies. At least they're not someone like Pierce that comes up with some really weird strategies sometimes. No offense to Pierce, but they often do not work. Sam leading X-Ray, Andre on one of the helicopters ready, Lolo being the sniper, Galil being one of the 2IC members of the group, Seismo and Reapers both going for a Mark 14 suppressed. All right. Atkins leading Alpha HQ. He's got Dingo leading Alpha 1 with Ola, Spike ERP, Revanche, and Green Thumb together. Mineline leading Alpha 2 with Nico, Lavid, Confused Pupper, Bees, and Lake Boss together. Seven leading Bravo HQ. You're hearing these guys loading into the chopper, which is kind of cute. Seven leading Bravo HQ, opting to keep the squad separate. Jonathan, Amp, the Stars, Steve, Kabui, McCarth, and Raven together. Bravo 2 being led by Oddball with Broken, Misphere, Offie, Jack, and Autovisky together. You've got Pepega all here. They've all merged the groups together. So we have Mara Jade Sidewalker. Good God. Hoodoo 2. I don't know who Hoodoo D2 is, actually. If you guys know, let me know. But we got Vonk as Quillen Vonk, Legal Organa as Legal Action, Kid Aid Money as I actually don't know either. Gonk Fury is Guy Fury, Bubba Flux is Flux, Mike Binks. I don't know. Brondo Calrissian. I'm just blanking on the names. Karma Jerus is Arma Jesus. Darth Shader is Shade. Grand Moff Harkane is Kane, obviously. Cake Gear 3PO is Cake. Cake Gear. Supreme Leader Snovix is Novix. And then you got Coda, who didn't participate with Bane. And Flux. Excuse me. Falcon also together. That is a very powerful team right there. Probably the best one of the night altogether, with, you know, two really good individual players, with the best PvP community, I'd say, for CQC. I'll have to get into that in a second as well, because Scandy excels in one method and Pepega excels in another method. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll look at the AO. But 1RW going under Delta HQ. I'll skip the breakdown there because I want to get into some other stuff. Jib Style and Korvac flying one, Helicopter Pearson Shy flying the other, and Coop is taking a swim in Delta. So let's go ahead quickly look at the AOs, because this will really tell us what's going to happen here. So the AOs are all in really separate areas. KO being the first AO, which... No, these are just spawn zones. Okay, so Op 4 is going to have to rush to get to the first AO, which is outside of their area. There's a defensive area right here with a few buildings that have been pushed together. But that's by design of the map. It's just been additionally fortified here. I think this AO is going to be a bit of a rush for Op 4 to take it. Looks like they're going to try to go for a defense of it. Terminal 2, though, I mean, it's a nice fortified area. They could really just capitalize on all the open areas around it and hold that one instead. And then Terminal 3 is just the town of Samato with a few small buildings added to it, but otherwise not much. This is the toughest AO to defend, in my opinion, because you have all this tree cover all around that can stop any advances here. I would just do a Hail Mary all-in defense at Terminal 2. Capitalize on the upper areas, utilize all the static assets. You got this nice open area over here to utilize as well. You could just lock down all the open areas and stop anyone, even Scandy, even Pepega, any of the big groups from getting up in here. And that's what happened in a previous AO. We had a very similar one up here. And I think it got super close, though, due to an ineffective defense by the defenders, but that was months ago. Really, I think the major fight is going to be here, and how Op 4 quickly tries to set up a defensive line, but might be overwhelmed by all the firepower that Blue Force sends off of their speedboats. But with this, the terminals have to be taken in order, so Terminal 1 has to be taken first, then 2, then 3, so we'll just have to see how that all goes. Otherwise, quickly looking, we got the first entirety of 1RW loaded in a chopper, entirety of X-Ray loaded in chopper. I'd imagine X-Ray's over there, 1RW's there, so we're going to see most of the forces going up in the naval side of things. Whew. So let me just state for the record, also 96, I just noticed that was a tier 3 resub, but anything custom for FNF, especially new mod sets, that's usually given in a week in advance, and also like over a month is spent planning on that date. So if they wanted to do anything custom for April 1st, it would have been discussed well in advance, because the amount of testing they have to do to make sure everything's balanced and works with is just very, very large. I know OFCRA did some stuff with Warhammer 40k PvP a while ago. That was really fun. FNF has done World War II and Vietnam, but usually they do a flavor of the month style like that once every 6 months to a year, and we're still fresh off of the latest Vietnam branches, so hard to say. And Jimbo, my friend, how are you doing? Jimbo is someone who was with me when this all started back in 2016. Always great to see him jump by. Otherwise, round is about to start 1 minute away. And I forgot, there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I have forgotten. So if anyone in chat remembers, jog my memory, I would appreciate it. But to answer Jimbo's question there, round 1 went pretty textbook in my opinion, so we'll just have to see how round 2 and 3 vary. I guess, depending on the AOs here, when you have these massive open areas, it doesn't matter how good of a community you are. Being caught in an open area is always a death sentence. And we're already seeing some preliminary fire going up on these hills. I guess they didn't realize that Op4 didn't start away from the terminal. But I guess keeping that open suppression in the beginning is always a good idea. Maybe because that UH-60 is immediately going to land on that hill. Trying to bleed off a little bit of speed to land low. Choppers are now coming in. You're seeing them also starting to tow the vehicles over to get those deployed. So you got this full-on naval invasion going. Blue Force starting to push in. But yes, this is round 2. I mistimed the prediction a bit. Now, I just heard them give the order that they have some people staying back to do Overwatch for these forces coming in. I'm going to tab out just to mute myself. And we'll keep everything going. Yep, so that squad's deployed. X-Ray still in the helicopter, though. I think that helicopter was staying up to give fire support, but now it's going to fly around. Try to get in this AO. We have the MTLB coming around on the wide flank here. Just an individual dedicated vehicle crew. Might try to cross this bridge to get on this ridge to flank Blue 4 coming in. That's a great play, but that's going to have to rely on Op Force slowing down the Blue 4 force, and they're literally charging in the open. No one's pulling immediate defensive security. That might let Op 4 get right on top of this position. We see some Blue 4 guys already firing, though. That might attract... Here we go. Now they're starting to spot everyone. And now... we'll see if anyone looks down enough. But that could allow these Op4 guys to get right up here. But no, we got a localized defense right here. And Op4 is in a pickle. They have a lot of forces caught out in the open right now. And a UH-60 coming around. See quite a few Op4 down there already dead or wounded. A lot of suppression going over here. There's no cover right here. It's all purely concealment. Bullets can penetrate. And Op4 completely misjudged how long it would take for Blue 4 to deploy on this hill. And it is a bloodbath for Op4. So that 10% numbers advantage Blue 4 already started with is only going to get even more widened here. But because Blue 4 have their entire force going for this objective and Op4 is still very much separated, we're just going to start seeing a massive defeat in detail here. As Op4's force, even though it was smaller, is going to be whittled down even further. As Blue 4 is doing this beautiful unified push here. Some spots being stopped by where there is Op4 resistance, but other parts quickly pushing through. You got Platoon HQ on top of this position himself. And again, I think we should have just abandoned this position from the get-go and just done a unified defense on Terminal 2, which we do see a squad up there, but it's not going to be enough if this number advantage is maintained. You have Blue 4 suppressing all the way back here, and Op4 is retreating. You got this group right here desperately trying to utilize their concealment, but it's not enough. Anyone in the open right now is going to be picked off because Blue 4 have actual positions of cover to work with right here, which means they have places they can duck behind if they take heavy fire. Which means Op4 have to get the first shot right. But, you know, the times where they are getting hit, they're able to then bring their guys back up because they have the cover to do it. A GL going down right on top of Mine Layer, but he manages to shrug it off without getting crippled, which I believe a gunshot just crippled him. But now look at this. Blue 4 trying to come around to flank through the concealment, but they are immediately getting picked off because that is also in the open. More Blue 4 potentially coming around as well. Honestly, these guys should hold, let the UH-60 do its job, but let Blue 4 take that terminal and then come around and flank instead. And that prediction is still going. You shot Vagrant in the head 5 times and he's still alive. I'm sorry to hear that, Falcon. Well, it looks like he finally went down. I believe this is Falcon's body. And that is Op4 ground command down. The prediction just ended by, I imagine, a lot of people put some points on Blue 4 last second, and we just saw some explosive traps go off. I do apologize that the prediction ran a little bit over. I didn't realize 20 minutes would be a bit too long. Falcon, may I recommend you take a break for the rest of the night then, if that's how you feel. Walk away from it because you're only going to get more angry.
Come over and I mean amuse him live on stream.
What word begins with A-B? Abuse. That's what you mean. All right, cool. Otherwise, UH-60 doing some really dangerous close runs here. Op4 did a great job deploying this smoke cover. We got Curie, Blue 4 Command, a little exposed here as he's getting really close to some of these Op4 forces. I appreciate that UH-60 trying to get some shots in. It is getting some wounds here, but that's some very dangerous flying. But now you have the MTL. No, this is X-Ray with Stark and Coulthers coming around, which are the suppressed shooters. They're going to potentially get one of the boats and maybe fire over, but Blue 4's too inland to really do anything proper. You got an MTLB that's come all the way around. I guess they weren't expecting Blue 4 to just immediately charge in, but that's exactly what Blue 4 did here. But Iceberg, nonetheless, thanks for the 37-month resub. I hope you've enjoyed the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Boba Flux doing his best. He's taking pot shots up here. He has a scoped Scar as the marksman. That's a pretty good weapon. And the UH-60 still harassing this group as they're coming around. He's wounding them, though. I mean, look at them. They're getting crippled here. Broken even pulling out an M72. Now, I gotta wonder if Blue 4 is going to adapt and push forces here to encircle and eliminate this position. We got this Blue 4 group hot on their heels. They might not turn left, though. They might just allow the UH-60 to continue harassment. Meanwhile, Platoon HQ, he's heading back. He's going to spot these two X-Ray guys, maybe even get picked off by him. But Blue 4, I would say, still need their commander to coordinate the rest of this fight, because they don't have a 2IC. So Chopper immediately starts taking fire. Curie's dead. Curie's dead. Yep. So Blue 4 command decapitated. How will that affect the squad cohesion? Usually when the commander gets killed, all cohesion goes out the window. So can the Op4 Charlie Force, TF131, the newest community to Friday Night Fights, capitalize on this? But they are in a town with Papega Pirates, and Papega Pirates play for keeps. Jeez, you see Shade there desperately trying to get a headshot, unable to make a connection. You got Sideways with him as well, but Op4 still haven't adjusted. I mean, look at this pile of bodies right here. Nick trying to crawl over. He gets flanked and eliminated. Just no reaction by TF131, and most of their force has already been cut down. Carrie coming in the chat to say screw himself. In a, you know, more polite fashion. Boba's come around. He knocks out Hamster. I'm going to be honest. Papega and Scandy, they eat new communities for breakfast. Unless that community has a lot of PvP experience like Coalition when they first came in, it's usually a bloodbath. Yes. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. I think the only difficulty Blue 4 is going to have from here on out is maneuvering to the next AO, but Op4, I mean, we got a bit of a nice encirclement going here. We could see some good vehicle harassment. Blue 4's already to started pushing up some individual forces, but it's more members of Papega. And it's against a weakened force. Yeah, here it was two members of their X-Ray rushed around, I think, to get the boats to try to take out your UH-60.
Let's give him a warm welcome.
Oh gosh, it's Kanan, Guy Fieri, excuse me, Grand Moff Tarkane and Gonk Fieri. And Gonk just blew this guy away so hard, he literally flew. You got Maz over here desperately trying to fight back on no kills though. Gonk on 2, Grand Moff on 1. Just a bloodbath. Get gonked, I know, right? Got some shooting over here from a few of the remaining Op4 guys. They're able to knock out Tarking. That's only going to alert Op4 to that position. Maz has the 2IC because Vagrant has also died. Both sides are going to lose their commanding assets. Oh my gosh. Their commanding assets. Did that BTR just take a hit? I saw an explosion. Might have been an HE shell because it was a big, a lot of smoke in that explosion, which indicates the HE was utilized there instead of AP, which would have penetrated into the hull and caused a smaller one. I can't tell if we're seeing some blue on blue here. And it's hard to say because I'd imagine anyone from Pepega has a decent kill count by now. We got some boats flanking around. One member of X-Ray, I think, was just taken out. Sothern's also getting hit right now, and he gets hit in the back of the head. So great play by these gunners here that were just able to take out both of the guys on the rear there. And that was one of Op4's last hopes, in my opinion. But look at this. Look at the amount of skulls we see on Blue 4. Command is dead, yeah, but I mean, it's less than 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 total. And look at Op4's. Which, again, we don't see much, but entire groups are dead at this point. Just a mess. And their command elements down, part of their X-rays down. It's brutal. Now, one silver lining, though, is the few guys that pushed up here on their own are actually starting to meet their match. Op4's pulled back. But again, they're fighting Pepega. Gonk's the Gonk Town. Yes, let's merge the Gonk memes and the Guy Fieri memes. Keziah getting a great Hillary Clinton there, causing this man to not only commit suicide, but fly forward from his own suicide shots momentum. You got the UH-60 bombarding the BTR. They were doing repairs, so it did get damaged by whatever hit it. UH-60 desperately trying to kill any of the dismounted crewmen because it's not going to be able to penetrate into that vehicle. Now, great attack on Terminal 1, but how the hell is Blue 4 going to get up to Terminal 2? We could probably see them remount the boats, take them up to these river areas and push in, but this is where we're going to see a big bleed of time, and then even then, after all of that, they still then have to move inland to Terminal 3. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a toughie, but as I say that, look at this. We've got X-Ray on the rear line here. They might be able to back cap Terminal 3 before Op4 push back to hold it. And if they can do that, then Blue 4 only has to worry about taking Terminal 2. But at this point, I think we're going to see an air vac of the UH-60s landing and picking up squads and moving them to a new position over at Terminal 2, which is going to be a tough thing to do because they need to recon out the area first. Now, I just see saw the MTLB get hit. I don't know who that was tied to. You're seeing explosions and the fuel flame out on it. It was Alpha 1 up here. Okay. So I don't know if that was solo crewed or crewed by someone else, but yeah, I guess Op4 really just didn't plan for Blue 4 to rush this in the fashion that they had. But sometimes when you're the attacking faction, you're told to do it a certain way. Just go out and do it a certain way, you know? Especially when you have the UH-60s that can immediately go up and report if there's anything on the ridge and say, no, it's clear. And then you just push your boats right in. Because you can always, you know, at the last second, if they report there's hostiles on the ridge, you can immediately pull right, let all your miniguns and your machine guns on the boats fire up the ridge, and then find a different LZ. There's very little to lose there because you can literally overwhelm any defensive line with a shit ton of firepower. But we have a bit of a lull here because now we just have to see where things go. That Vic's still flaming out. Any chance for a massive killing spree for Blue 4? Maybe. again, you got to consider there's a lot of open fields here. Op4 still have both of their BTR-80s in play. They could still get in certain angles where if Blue 4 wants to try to move in as infantry, they can get easily picked off from range, and you're starting to see that fire come in. This is a bit of an awkward angle for that BTR to utilize, though, plus they're misranging. Also, you're having the UH-60s harassing the BTRs, but the real issue I'm having right now is I don't see Blue 4 making any plans to start moving to the next terminal. Instead, we're seeing them move up on foot to take out this remaining Op4 garrison, which is just down to Gonk Fieri up 4 kills. Doing his best here. And you're seeing the remaining 3 Op4 defenders. There is a 4th, which has Dryden, but he's running north, trying to maneuver away as more Blue 4 enter this town. I'm going to be honest, though, if time continues like this, I could still see Op4 holding the open areas around that hilltop and winning the time, but in which case it's going to be a long, and I mean long, 35 minutes. Also, I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to cover round 3. Because I have to be out of here in 45 minutes. I just realized for dinner. So we might be able to come back and cover a little bit of the NA branch, maybe rounds 2 and 3. Because that'll probably be around 9 o'clock, and I should be back by then. But there, that's what I'm talking about. That's suppression from along a very far branch. One guy going down, another guy getting crippled. But yeah, no, I think we'll do that. So we'll probably cover the evening NA branch rounds 2 and 3, and then we'll do some DayZ immediately after where you guys control me for the rest of the 1st of April, you know? I think that's a good compromise. IRL stream while I cast Arma. I don't think my in-laws would appreciate that. Battle Beef going down. I don't know to what, though. Can't tell if that was friendly fire or something else, because there wasn't really any Blue 4 around to deal that blow, unless I'm completely misinterpreting here. But yeah, maneuver-wise, I really don't know. When I meant in-laws. Did I say outlaws? My bad. And no, they wouldn't. Who needs in-laws when we have us? Well, ooh, a great trade right there by a Blue 4 and Op 4 member. That'll be waking back up. It's all right, we'll have some time to BS in a second. Door open. That'll be saw the gun, but Offie had a mini-me, and that thing has a pretty high fire rate. Ooh. Hold up. Oh, no. Blue 4, do they hear it? No. Where's the AT guy? Azus. Azus. That's an engine sound. It's drowned out by the UH-60s. Despo immediately turns around upon realizing, but Blue 4 didn't react. Oh, that would have been... Oh, Azus just realized. Huh, wait a minute. Is that a BTR? What BTR? I don't see a BTR. Where's the BTR, everybody? I think I heard a BTR. I can't be certain now. Well, let's just keep moving this direction. Okay, yeah. Certainly a BTR. Another Moz round. It goes in from a different angle, but they were able to successfully get away. Now, that BTR could come around right here and get some pretty good long-range shots. Blue 4 quickly running into positions of cover here to potentially get in a position to hide from the BTR. No, Azu's just keeping this thing out like, if there's a BTR, I'll be able to get it. Ah, well. It is very dangerous to engage at that range. And now we're starting to see Blue 4 landing their helicopters with the intention of picking up their infantry. This is a really tight LZ. I don't know why you just land on the outside of the town. Because if you injure the helicopter... Oh, yeah, move your tail. All right, well. Very risky LZ, but sure, if it works, it works. Other UH-60 coming around, dropping vehicles off potentially. These guys grenading their rear. I think they saw the guys up on the crew spots over there. Technically, if that BTR were to come up and disable the helicopters, that would be very critical. All right, so they just dropped off one of the Vics here. They're coming into the land over there as well. But here is that reposition of forces that I talked about needed to happen. But by the time they begin their attack and Op 4 thinks about pulling back, we're already going to have Blue 4 on Terminal 3. And you got some Blue 4 guys firing back at those two Op 4 players right there as well. Look, I mean, here's what I'll say about my in-laws. They don't necessarily understand nor respect what I do. And they didn't until I showed them the statistics in terms of revenue. Any other number didn't matter, but they saw as long as I was making money to be able to live with their daughter, that's all they cared about at the end of the day. Which I don't blame them for. Imagine you had a daughter and you had no idea what her boyfriend did for a living. But as long as it was legal and there was money involved with it, then I guess that would satisfy you, but that's just the world we live in. So, no, I can't weasel myself out of this one. Trust me, I try, but I can't do every single one. If I had it their way, I'd be over there like every month, all right? So just be happy I only have to do it a few times a year instead. But it is fun to go. I mean, they're Greek, and they know how to cook. And trust me, there's something about an ethnic family that knows how to cook meat. Like, it is so freaking good every single time. And they never overcook it either. They know how to cook the damn things properly. Like, if they overcooked everything, I'd absolutely hate it. Granted, Bloodwing's father does love everything overcooked, but at least he doesn't inflict that on everyone else. But, oh my gosh, her mother can cook fish. I've had fish at Michelin star restaurants that don't hold a fucking candle to what she can cook with her oven. My God. Like, it literally melts in your mouth. And then I remember there was one time where she did overcook the fish and she was so mad at herself. And you did taste it. It was a little dry. It was overcooked, but almost every other time, it's just perfect. Berzino, I believe, is the fish, the main Greek fish they eat. Just, you got to be careful for bones, though. All right, we have one UH-60 that's gone ahead and landed over here. This has Pepega Pirates dismounting. Again, still mostly at full strength. They're going to start moving up on this position. I got to be... I'm a little curious to see how Blue 4 are going to redeploy their forces as well. How many are going to stick to Land Rovers? And how they're going to attack these AOs. Because by this design, it is a really tough AO for for Blue 4 to attack, because the AOs are so spaced out and there's very limited transport. If Op 4 were to take a more defensive approach, if they just held Terminal 2 with a very large force, and then Terminal 3 with a Vanguard force to prevent backcapping, and utilize their vehicles to instead hunt down and eliminate Blue 4 vehicles instead of infantry, they could have beaten this to attrition, which granted would have been a really boring round, but that would have been the easiest and safest way for Op 4 to play this one. Now, no one here plays this game for it to be a boring round, myself included. I'm just stating tactically that would have been the best choice, but people, you know, you want to play your gun game to shoot your damn gun, not wait around on a hilltop for 30 minutes waiting for your opponent to come up. And that is the difference between myself and a few other people. I'll state the tactical way they should have done it, and some people believe they should always do it the tactical way to win, but I'm going to be honest here. Most people don't play Arma, even if they don't know it yet or realize it. They don't play Arma to win. They play Arma to shoot their fucking guns. Otherwise, why would they play this game? This game requires a lot of patience and a lot of waiting around for things to happen because it's a giant sandbox. If you want more gunplay action, why not just go to Call of Duty or Battlefield or something? Nah, people are here for an experience. But that experience still needs to deliver. Because otherwise, you're just going to wait around on a server doing nothing for 2 hours, just memeing around with your friends, which granted, once in a while, can be really fun. And I've been in ops like that, where nothing happened and we just dicked around with our friends. By all means, it's still a social event with a bunch of people. And you can have fun with that, but no one wants to do that every single time. And people that do want to do that every single time, let's be honest, they go to VR chat these days, and we find them there. To be social. Because they're too awkward in the real world to socialize, or they don't have, how do I word it? They don't have the opportunity to do it in the real world. Everyone's different. All right, so we're seeing some Land Rovers being deployed here. One of the UH-60s are firing at the BTR that quickly remounts. into the MTLB, but it looks like one of them got killed off. It's only Tymek in there now. Despo was shot out before he could board, so I'm curious why they probably boarded that because that was their only bit of cover, but yeah, now that BTR-80 is going to have to be solo crewed. Now we're going to see a pincer maneuver here, but again, this is what I was worried about, because Pepega, they don't like to wait around. They're going to engage first. Can Op4 eliminate the entirety of Pepega before they have to then turn around and deal with this other Blue 4 group coming in? We do have some more Blue 4 mounted up and Vix coming in. We've got another helicopter coming around, potentially with more forces here. This is all open ground for Op4 to hold. They've dug fortifications. They could hold this, in my honest opinion, but it's going to be tough. But it's Scandi Recon, one of the two top communities here. So, especially fighting against Pepega, with all this open ground, I think they could do it. But it's going to be tough. Yeah, Jimbo. Where'd you have those missions, if you don't mind me asking? Engine just got hit. Pierce is really good with his flight skills, though. I imagine he's going to be able to auto-rotate it. You see him tilting back, so he drags speed. Landing right on that tree, though! And that +1 turned into a... that +7 turned into a +1. That is the entirety of 1RW taken out. He would have been fine if he didn't hit that tree, but look at all the floating guns. Oh. He got everyone in there killed except for himself and Aslan. Oh, that's gotta suck. I streamer cursed him. I know, I'm evil. Scandi Recon bias, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I mean, Op4, their chance is slowly growing. It went from a very unlikely part to it's slowly going to become possible. The one issue is, look at this concave we're seeing here. They're actually timing it to attack this from multiple different sectors, but here's the potential issue. If these guys keep going up in this direction, they're going to have to either come down this ridge or come right here, which is going to mean they're open to this as they have to sprint down right here. This is going to be where smokes are deployed, but the smokes are going to roll downhill and potentially still expose them. This group right here is the closest one to engaging. They've got some vehicle support, but they're going to engage on their own. They do have some high ground, but this is where all of Op4's fortifications can turn and engage. This force right here, they're all the way in the back, plus they have this massive ridge to work with. So they're going to continue to go north. They'll probably come down into this area where it's the safest, come down right here, pass by this building, then come up right here, but they've got the longest trek in my opinion. What I'm basically trying to say is this force is going to engage first, might defeat itself in detail and have to pull back. Then that force is going to be spotted and engaged right there, maybe even push up, possibly get engaged, and then defeated, and then pulled back. In time for this force to be honest, in all honesty, probably be down here, maybe coming up, and then attack. My point is, Blue 4 is not going to attack this AO at the same time with all of their forces. They're going to attack one force at a time, and that might give Op4 enough time to repel each attack individually and hold out. This is Scandi Recon, one of the two factions I'd expect to be able to actually pull something like that off. This feels like esports of Arma. I'd say the truest version of esports you can get is in a community called Electronic Sportsmaster, which I will be covering their events now henceforth. But this is a pretty good interpretation of it. But esports are just dependent on what you make of it. The only reason I would say ESM is officially an esport is because they actually do have cash pools or cash prizes for their teams, whereas this is all just for the fun of it. This is all good practice. And Mr. Rat is right. If you want some solid betting advice, feel free to ask for it. But I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm often wrong. I am often wrong because you never know who is going to become a new star. Like Maz last week getting over a dozen kills. I didn't see that coming. And he single-handedly turned it around for his force to win under NA3. You don't know that. See, now that Blue 4 is attacking from this ridge and this force is back here, now we got two sides delivering fire, and this Op4 force could falter. And that could buy more time for this force to come around, but I think they're going to be too severely delayed. Also, Blue 4 not utilizing their vehicle support, or hell, they're keeping some of them in reserve. I think they're going to do a rush. They're going to try to weaken the outer defenses and just rush in, which could be costly, but that could also be exactly what they need to get a force right on top to really throw out the remaining Op4 members in disarray. I do appreciate, though, that every time we're seeing some Blue 4 guys trying to come out in the open here and engage, they're immediately getting hit. You can see those bloodstains right there. Well, Electronic Arts is not going to buy Arma. There's no way in hell. I hope I didn't just caster curse myself there. Please, for the love of God, don't have EA buy this game. I don't know. We've got Malin that's died and one that's died. They've all died in open areas, though, not from positions of cover, which is good. Frost is unconscious over here. I think he's getting worked on by a medic. You still have the entirety of Bravo 2 alive. And as I say that, Gabian gets headshotted by a member of Pepega. GL's going in. 20 minutes left on the clock with Blue 4 right on top of the terminal, ready to back cap. We do have a little bit of a defensive line over here firing at that group, but I don't... It's unwarranted right now. They got to be turning to engage other areas. Blue 4, despite not having all their forces committed in the same direction. Oh my gosh. Vonk just crippled himself sliding off that ridge. But just because they're not committing all their forces, Op4 is engaging them regardless, and that is keeping their forces spread out. And if Op4 perceives that they're being surrounded and decides to engage those forces regardless of whether or not they're in position to actually be a threat to them, that's where the issue lies. And I love how Timing's got now the Vikings running back on foot, but that means the BTR ran out of fuel or something. Ay, ay, ay. You Gucci right, Falcon. Well, I'm glad you calmed down. Hope you're better in round 3 if you decide to play, but I don't think I'll be able to cover it because I'll have to disappear. But I'll come back for rounds 2 and 3 for NA. If not, at least round 3, because that'll be late enough. Dobbs desperately working on Pete Frost here. Did someone else just slide down that ridge? Yeah, so one thing about these ridges, guys, you cannot walk up them. Even with enhanced movement, it is very, very steep. Your character's going to start sliding down. Gravity will almost always win. We have a Moz round coming in. Didn't get a successful hit, though. I do like how that BTT gunner's waiting right there. But yeah, when they're up here, they're just static positions. They just move the guns. It's really funny. 18 minutes, but the defense has to be here. Let's see, in 5 minutes, this group, they're going to get on the ridge and try to provide long-range supporting fire to keep that group pinned, which is going to mean that this small group in defensive line has to hold against that group as we're having Pepega starting to come up and move around. This is where Op4 is weakest right now, and I think Pepega are going to be able to just immediately break through if these other two groups stay on Overwatch. That's why Alphas stopped moving and are instead getting on this ridge in positions of cover behind these trees to keep this force pinned, because I think regardless of the fact that Curie, who is the Blue 4 ground command, is dead, these guys are potentially working together, or this is just beautifully orchestrating itself where you are having Pepega aggression with two other groups that are less aggressive, but instead opting to engage from range to keep these forces pinned so that the Pepega aggression can do its job. I think that's the more likely one, because I've heard testimony time and time again that usually by this time, communication has fully broken down, especially without ground commanders. Has Bloodwing pranked me yet? No, she has not. And there we go. Mike Binks coming up and getting that kill on that one Op4 sentry, and I think it's over. You kind of had a plan? Good enough for me, Donner. Where were you? Blue 4? What squad were you in, if you don't mind me asking? AT being heard. Beautiful hit! Taking out that Vodnik. Multiple kills. That was done by an AT man back here. I don't see an AT symbol, though, so I actually have no idea who got the kill, but it definitely came from over here. I have no idea. Now you got Pepega just barreling through. The heli crash Delta? Gotcha. Yeah, so you were part of the squad that didn't make it, unfortunately, because Pierce couldn't see under him, but he didn't see that he was landing on a tree. It happens. Dinner is an April Fool's prank. Oof. Don't say that. It breaks my heart. Yeah, Op4 is getting whittled down because even though Blue 4 wasn't doing a three-pronged attack, Op4 started engaging all sides of the attack, and that action alone was enough. No, Gonk! Oh god, Gonk! I don't see an explosive specialist alive, though, for Op4, so it's quite possible that the explosive specialist is dead. The chopper just got blown out of the sky. I'm sorry, what? Okay. The Arma 3 is something that a lot of people would consider a gateway to the unnatural. I have no idea how the fuck Korvac did that. He's Iron Man. His co-pilot didn't make it, but he did. He's just Iron Man. Physics are optional for Korvac. You know what? I think I agree. So the terminal is in this one building right here. You got Mike Binks coming up. 2 Op4 guys not realize they're getting breached. Oh, Mike with the 240 Bravo, but gets bitch slapped back by Nimia. She is not having any Papega Pirates members coming up on her today. Wow. The freaking bitch slap. Oh, I love it. Get that 240 out of my fucking face, said Nim. Now, can they do that against literally like 20 more guys? We also have some of Alpha now rushing over. They did a really quick rush despite only being infantry. We have a few defenders, but they are still pinned as these remaining Blue 4 guys come in. Hey, Tim, welcome. Whiplash doing his best to hold. He's gonna breach out. That's a really big mistake in my opinion. Oh god, the dodge. The dodge. Gonk Fieri desperately trying to run, but gets pistol whipped from range. Oh my god, it's just up to Nim. Whip couldn't bitch slap the 240 hard enough. And I think Nim just bitch slapped Gonk Fieri out as well. 14 minutes, this entire encirclement on Blue 4. You're just going to see the daisy chain after Terminal 2 gets taken to Terminal 3. It's over. The question is, how long can Yanni and Nim last? Some long-range suppression given by Barrett over here. Oh! Yanni, I can't tell if he got picked off by that Overwatch element or from the flank, potentially by Pierce there. Can Nimia hold her house? Because there's a lot of people that want to get into that house to start the daisy chain. You only have Cullis up there remaining. There's a wounded guy, but it's over. You've got Dryden and Grav coming down from the ridge. You've got Tymek on the rear. If Nim could hold for a few minutes, maybe we could see some other Op4 players get into position here, but it's going to be a tough fight. You think Tymek could potentially pick people off? Maybe. But even then, this is where the main fight is. Nim has to fight off 6 Blue 4. Which, granted, could be a manageable number. That building is not going to blow up. There's a lot of positions in here where she could hide. She could grab the 240 at CQC. It can be a very deadly weapon. She's going to hold the staircase instead. Where is the terminal, though? The terminal's on the first floor. So realistically, she can continue to hold this spot because someone can immediately run in and go on the left. That's what Pierce is going to do. Nim has no choice but to push down. Pierce trying to interact with it. Both of them trading nades. Nim then folds in. Oh, but Nim exposes herself and gets taken out by Barrister Offie's 249. Look at the disrespect. He ran down, and it is over. There's the 1 minute 30 for the daisy chain, and then we're going to see the other terminal get hit in a bit. Oh, it's only counting down in factors of 5. It's over. It's over. I do feel sorry, too, because they didn't do anything. They just ran over and bat-capped. But I'm going to be honest, without them, Blue 4, I don't think would have had the time to maneuver to take Terminal 3. But at the same time, if Op 4 in this position had a squad instead of going to Terminal 1, hold Terminal 3, fight off X-Ray, in these 11 minutes, I think Op 4 still could have won. It was just a massive miscalculation of how quickly Blue 4 could mobilize on Terminal 1. And that is, I think, the mistake that Op 4 command made. No offense to Vagrant. He's normally a really good commander. But especially if you're fighting a faction with a shit ton of armed speedboat miniguns, if your first objective is a coastal one, you don't want to touch that. You want to just let that fold, give yourself the extra time, go cover Terminal 2 and Terminal 3, and just wait it out there. Wow, so Nafs actually woke back up. Spiky trying to breach, gonna run right into Nafs. And Nafs immediately bitch slaps Spiky back. I'm not sure if that's a rule, but I think that is, because you're not supposed to be able to block stuff, block entryways with trenches, but we'll let the admins sort that shit out. But even then, it's over. Any reason why you don't do recorded vids of these games? I do. They're just posted on the Liru Shenanigans channel. I don't have all the room on my main channel to post them all, because otherwise the main channel would be literally releasing like 8 or 9 videos a day, and no one has the time to watch 8 or 9 videos a day on one channel. So I've separated where my videos are set up. Yeah, it's the memes channel. I gotta rewrite that command, because it used to be the memes channel, but I rebranded it as the PvP channel. About a year and a half ago, when I got rid of all my editors. But yeah, no, I just gotta spring clean some things here and there. But that is the round. It was a close one, too. But anyway, we're going to be back for round 2 and 3 of NA later tonight. Stone Willow Tree, thanks for gifting 5 subs. If you got a sub from Stone Willow Tree, make sure you thank them. Otherwise, hope y'all keep doing the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of the scenario. Did I see Twitch's April Fools? No. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really let go of the editors. The editors let go of me. But that is a different story for another time, I might tell. Later in the future. Otherwise, that is going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go operate operationally. We will be back hopefully around 9:30 for the NA branch, and then we'll play fucking DND. No. Daisy. That's it. And I'll let you guys troll me with sound bites. Otherwise, cheers, guys, and have a good one. And yes, I will pay it out in a second. There it is officially, and that's GG.
Send in goat.